Harmony Science Academy, Houston High School. So I attended school in Houston, but I do go to college here in San Antonio, so I go to Trinity University. I'm a junior. I have a double major in political science and Spanish and a minor in African American studies. As you can see, I'm very comfortable in front of audience. I love public speaking. It is something that I do every day. Honestly, my campus asks me to speak like literally all the time. So this is something that I enjoy, but I definitely have to thank Harmony for this skill. My freshman year, I did not like public speaking. I didn't like getting up in front of class. I didn't like even talking to my professors face to face. I was really shy, and it was interesting because they gave us something what we call STEM demonstration. So you would go, you would choose any type of project, and then you would perform the project, and as the student said, you would make a YouTube video of you performing the project. We had to make websites, we had to make brochures. It was tedious. I was like, dude, we have to do this. Like, we have to do it freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. What I joined was our STEM demonstration team. So this was a team that, like, anytime we had visitors come, we would leave class and we would go perform our experiences. So we're just showing them how hands-on our curriculum was, that we're not only in class learning these projects, where we actually know how to perform them ourselves, but more importantly, present them to other people. So it was on that team that I learned how to talk to people, how I learned how to honestly like sell myself and present. And I became very comfortable talking to people. I'm telling you, we had the mayor come. I had to present in front of the mayor, different congressmen, representatives, senators. I was talking to some important people. And you know, when I first started, I was very nervous because I'm like, I'm only doing a red cabbage experiment, the room smelling like. I was like, they're not even interested. But what I learned was they were more so interested in the fact that I could present it, and I could present it comfortably and confidently, and actually present it in a way that they can understand it. Because I know for a fact that they didn't understand half of the things I was saying. So it was on that team. I stuck with that team from my sophomore year, my junior year, and also my senior year. Of course, I was involved in several other things. I had joined the speech and debate team because I love to speak so much. I did poetry slams, so I was writing poetry, going around Houston, performing, doing a lot of like front of the audience type of experiences. So our senior year, it was really funny because by that time I kind of got tired of the STEM demonstration team. I was like, I'm doing this all the time, but it afforded me so many opportunities. Dr. Yilmaz actually came to me, and I kind of had a partner like these two. We stuck by each other our whole high school year, and he was like, hey, so we have a surprise for you. And I'm like, what? And they're like, we want to send you to Washington, D.C. We need you to go up there. We need you to perform some of your experiences, speak to a couple of people, and just let them know, you know, how are you learning at Harmony, and how is PBL basically, you know, giving you these skills to be able to talk and present in front of people. So we were like, okay, you want us to send us to Washington, D.C.? Like, so they sent us, and it was amazing. We did a conference, and I talked to a lot of more important people, and then I began to become even more confident. So by the time I became a freshman at Trinity here, when it came to public speaking, I was like, I'll do it. So in class, you know, a lot of professors were like, wow, you're comfortable up there. Like, you're not shy. That's very different for a first year. I even had like upperclassmen like, you're a junior, right? You're senior, right? I'm like, no, I'm a first year. They're like, why do you carry yourself so confidently? Why? How can you get in front of audiences? And I took leadership roles also. My first year, so I was president of Black Student Union by my sophomore year. I'm a hall manager by my junior year, and a lot of people are looking like, how do you know how to get out there? How do you not be scared? And I'm like, because this is what I did my whole life. From my 6th grade to my 12th grade years, Harmony had us presenting. We were doing projects, but we were taking those projects and we were going everywhere. We had international conferences, we entitled them iSweep in Houston. Every year we had to go, and we were staying there about 3 days, coming in and just presenting. It was half of the things that I didn't even know I was presenting about, but I could learn how to fake it. So I was presenting. I really became good at faking what you actually don't know, and which helps in college too sometimes. I do have to say, when you don't really know it, you can get up there and own it, and it looks like you know it. So that's my life story, I do have to say. But I just really have to thank Harmony for this, because I want to run for office. That's my end goal. I do want to run for office. I want to engage in politics. And what I have to do is to be able to speak. I have to get in front of audiences. I have to be able to literally sell myself and have people agree with me and come on board with the things that I believe. The best way to do that is to know how to communicate, to know how to reach people. And had I not went to Harmony, had I not did these had I not talked to important people, I wouldn't have known how to do that. I wouldn't have had that skill set. So even though I am not in like a STEM-based area in studies, I am political science, and mostly social science and history, those skills that I learned from my STEM-based academics in high school have equipped me for skills that are going to help me in my career. I'm meeting in San Antonio area, I'm meeting lawyers every day, I'm meeting congressmen, and all of them who are asking me, have you graduated yet? I'm like, no, I'm only a junior. Well, when you graduate, get back with me because I would really like to have you on board. I mediated a mayoral debate my freshman year, which was huge because these are like the actual people running to be a mayor, and I'm like a freshman, but they had me come in, they had me mediate. I met so many people, and it's amazing because of the networking skills that I have. Because like they said, we have to go to these conferences and sell ourselves. So now when I go to like seminars and networking events, I'm like, hi, I'm Taylor Rowe. I'm confident, I know how to do this. And I want to talk about like our videos. You know, those videos were tedious that we had to make of those projects. I remember like staying behind school till like 6, 7 o'clock making these videos, but they paid off in the end. It was really funny. I got a call about a month ago from my physics teacher, my junior year in high school. He's like, hey Taylor, and I'm like, who's this? He's like, you remember me? I was your physics teacher. I'm like, oh cool. And he's like, so, you remember that video you made your sophomore year when I was like 15, I'm 21 now? He was like, yeah, so this Discovery Channel called, and they saw your video on YouTube, and they want to use it in one of like their children-based learning shows. And I was like, which video was it? We made so many videos. He was like, go back and look at it. And I went back and I was like, I hated making that video, but they want to use it for the Discovery Channel? Like, how cool is that? So I'm like, I'm famous now. It's really cool. So I definitely encourage you all in high school to stick with it, because the skills that we are learning will equip you so that when you are a junior, you're a senior, and you gotta come into a room and present what you know, you will be confident. You know, you would love talking to people, love explaining to people what you know. You don't even have to be STEM-based. I'm social science. I'm a future politician, if you know how that's gonna go. But that's basically what I have learned from going to Harmony. So thank you.
Well, Taylor apparently set a high standard for me. So I'll try to be half the person she was. I'm more of the tech guy, so says something right there. But I have more knowledge in terms of how to implement the PBL projects at the higher level. So as a senior in high school, I also led a solo car team, and it's very difficult. I'll tell you, especially from a teacher's perspective, because a lot of our teachers have a lot of conceptual knowledge and they have some application knowledge. Maybe they know how to change a tire. But how do you go from that to welding, arc welding, TIG welding, carbon fiber composites, like complex engineering concepts? Okay. So the tips I want to give you, I'm going to focus more on those things. I had some other things I wanted to say, but they've already been covered, I think, in the other presentations. I'll say them briefly. Simply the importance of education. I think people just undervalue the importance of education. The students of today, these students are going to be running our government. These students are going to be the industry leaders of tomorrow. So I think if, as adults or as people who have jobs and go interact with students on a daily basis, I think that's forgotten a lot of the time. I don't think people realize that they're actually educating the people that are running their government. As Taylor's an example of. Someday she's going to be running the show. So as a teacher, you have an influence now on the people who are going to run our future. Okay? So I'm going to kind of shift over back to PBL projects. And I'll tell you, I guess, the two major things that I discovered that PBL does for students. One is it helps students find a passion. Bob mentioned his 3 students, but from his story, it kind of seemed like the students had some idea, of a focus. So if you have a student with passion, as educators, it's fairly simple. You just kind of push them a little bit, give them some resources, and the students will perform. If you have students who have no passion and who are instead on the streets, that's when you have a challenge. So those are the students we work with. As Taylor knows from going to the school she went to, right next door you have violence. You have gun violence. You have people selling drugs, literally 10 feet away from your school. So how do you get a kid who has the option of going to prison or going to college? So how do you give them that passion? Okay? Or rather, you don't give it to them. They have to find it. So how do you provide the resources for them to go and find that passion? Okay, and that's basically what the whole project-based model is all about. Okay, so the student may not realize what they're doing at first. I don't think any of us really like PBL the first time we did it. It's just really, like, it's very tedious, like as they mentioned, you know, it's a lot of steps. You have your regular homework, and then you have this in addition to all that. You're like, oh, what the heck, you know, I'm supposed to be enjoying my high school years. But then afterwards, you begin to realize, you know, she discovers she loves public speaking. What if she never spoken ever in her life? You know, she would go to the graveyard basically never knowing that she had this talent. So without a project, without something that the students have early on, they literally never had the opportunity to find their skills. Granted, how many of you chose your particular career because of a test you took? Raise your hand. You took a test one day and you're like, wow, I did really well. I think I want to be, I don't know, a scientist. No. The scientists are the ones who are doing the experiments. The lawyers are the ones who are having discussions. Okay? So I don't get why we focus so much on the testing and all this stuff. You know, we have to kind of standardize everything. You know, that kid is kind of good. You know nothing about that student based on what a piece of paper tells you. You put that student in front of an audience, you see what they can do. They tell you. It's in here. It's in their heart. So the project-based model is not just some random project that you do that's kind of fun for your students. It literally is education. Not what we have today, which is some type of model where you just kind of keep track of how students are doing. No. Okay, so if you give them the project first, they'll excel in every other area so that they can continue to work on what they love to do. They'll realize that if they want to be an engineer, they'll go to a top school and they'll learn physics, they'll learn chemistry, they'll learn all the engineering concepts, they'll learn how to machine parts, they'll learn what a clutch is, how an engine works, how pistons work. Okay? They'll learn all those things. Okay, but first it starts with the passion. Okay, so actually in the last 2 months, I've dedicated most of my time to learning how to motivate students who have literally no other way of finding motivation in their life. They go home, they have parents who basically don't care about them. They come to school, they have friends who are not doing so well. So in that 20 hours that I have with them a week, sometimes 30 hours, after school, on weekends, we work every day of the week, just to put things in perspective, the kind of projects we work on. So during that time, I have one-on-one consultation. Come outside. What's your dream? What do you want to do with your life? I have a student that wants to be the world's best soccer player. I have a student who wants to become an astrophysicist. And every day, the people they encounter are telling them they can't live those dreams because they're seeing them as they are, not as the people they can become. Okay? So that gives you an idea of the power of being able to work deeply with students while you're working on a project. Okay, so the project-based model is just some way facilitating the work that you're doing with your students. It'll give you one-on-one with your students. You'll be able to say, okay, for example, I have a grant proposal team that literally just writes grant proposals. As high school students, they've done extensive research on how to write short-term grants, long-term grants, how to tailor their grant proposal to the company. So they do the research on the company. What is the company like? What are their interests? Are they STEM-based? Are they into politics? Okay, which politicians do they follow? Which politicians do they support? What are the ideas of that politician? What's that platform? So the students go back from that, and they tailor their grant to that. So when they give a presentation to a group of people, they know their audience. So if you don't know who you're speaking to, you don't know you're speaking to educators. Each and every one of you has some type of connection with students, with the next generation. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you don't realize that every day. Let's wrap up. Sorry. Okay. So I'm trying to squeeze all this in a short amount of time. But my point is, if you can help your students find passion through project-based learning, the rest comes easily. Okay. I say that, but we're still struggling to find funding and stuff. But my point is, once you get that taken care of, okay, everything is good.
In college, was he's mentoring more than part-time as a project manager at one of our high schools, and he's very passionate, as you can tell, to change the education.